Hey everybody, this is Pixis Designs. You are looking at a old beat up Traxxas that I had purchased maybe, I want to say like 15 years ago, probably more than that, 20, 25 years ago. I don't know, it's pretty old. But this video is not about this. It's about wheels and tires off of RC vehicles. So what I've been wanting to do is make adapters for the Stinger / Vamp to be able to fit wheels and tires off of RC vehicles onto the Vamp and Stinger platform. That way you're not limited to a certain style from a certain company, wheels and tires that you can only use. So I have done that. I now have adapters for not only to do a lift, to be able to fit 3 3/4 tires. You can probably go a little bit taller than that, not much, but maybe 4-inch tires, maybe, to be able to use on the platforms, but also for, and we will go over this here in a few minutes, to just be able to use your regular, without a lift, rims and tires off of RC vehicles. So I just went on Amazon and I purchased 3 sets at least of 12 millimeter hex driven wheels and tires off of a couple different companies to kind of develop a adapter to be able to use these, and this is what we have right here. So let me get a little more of a deep dive and set this camera up so I can show you around on what we are looking at here. Okay, so just kind of isolated my newest set here. This is the drop kit for the Vamp. There wasn't really much to the actual addition. It's more of just it raises the wheel and tire setup, stock wheel and tire setup, maybe about an inch, and extends it out past the fender. So this is the kind of the genesis of everything that's fixing to be shown to you here real quick. So we're going to pull this set off here. And I have a feeling my little Joe over here is probably going to end up falling off. So we're going to go ahead and set him aside. Okay, so that's that. So what I ended up developing here is an adapter. It's actually a 2-piece setup. So here's the 12 millimeter 0.472 adapter. All you have to do is, and I will be supplying this with each set that I sell. I've got some metric 4 12 millimeter black button head socket cap screws, and I also have some M4 lock nuts as well. So basically all you're going to be doing is grabbing this hex adapter. Now I will not be supplying the tools to do this. You'll have to have your own hex head set to be able to do any of these mods to your vehicle. I will be supplying the plastic bits for you though, and the screw and the lock nut. So you're kind of halfway there. You will not be getting any tire or wheel setups, just the adapters to be able to use whatever tire and wheel combo that you actually wanted to use. So anyways, so whatever wheel and tire that you may end up getting, either this right here is a 3-inch tire. I will list the name of the company here in a few minutes once I do a stop and restart on this segment here. But this specific company right here actually makes 3-inch tires, 3 3/4 inch tires, and I think it's listed as 75, 85, 95, and 100 millimeter tires, but I believe this is the 70. I think this is the 85 millimeter tire. I don't know. Don't get me wrong on that. Anyways, so this cap right here actually, and I'm not going to do that here. You got to remove all these little set screws in here. Actually, it comes removed. All you have to do is get this little adapter right here, plug into the back of it. You'll have your screw that I will supply. Plug it in there, and you'll use your Allen wrench to hold that end while you put this little lock nut, screw it on. Most people familiar with RC vehicles know what all's involved with this. So let me put that aside. Okay, so after this is installed, just like this, hold on just a second. Okay, sorry about that. I had a machine go off because it needed me to feed it, but now I forgot where I was at. So anyways, so again, this is a two-piece design. You'll have your 12 millimeter .472 drive wheel hex that goes into this part. You just screw that into the RC wheel, and then you'll have this adapter that will be the level adapter. So if you do not want to give your Vamp any kind of height raise or anything, this will be the adapter that you get for this Vamp. Now, you will only be stuck with the original tire height. So this is a 3-inch tire, and it's pretty close to the stock 3-inch tire of the Vamp. I can't give that a millimeter height because I can't, but I think it's like 85 millimeter, but I'm probably wrong. So anyways, once you get all that put in there, you'll just snap that in, just like that. Now it's not like a, what I want to say, like a free-rolling ball bearing type fit where, you know, it'll spin freely forever, but it does spin. So you'll get that put in, and I've already got these other 4 installed. Now again, this only puts it at stock height, so that way you're not really raising it or lowering it or really much of anything. If anything, what is happening with the installation of this specific kit is you're pushing the tires out because there has to be room for that 12 millimeter extension. Just like that. So at least with this kit, you still maintain your original drive height, a similar tire and wheel setup, just a little more realistic than what the Hasbro version is. And again, like I said, it pushes out the tire. I think it pushes it out maybe about 1/2 of an inch further out than what stock is. And you do maintain some semblance of articulation, whatever articulation actually came with it. It wasn't much, but it is there. So that is that kit. Just like that. So, okay, so I just had to look it up real quick. So I was right. So these are 85 millimeter tires. I'm looking at the listing right now from Amazon, and these are 110 RC tires, 1.55 inch in width, 85 millimeters, and I'll be showing you one here in a few minutes, which is 95 millimeters, which ends up being like a 3.75 inch tire. 0.472 hex drive, which is a 12 millimeter hex, and these tires can be purchased off of Amazon for $26. So it's not actually a bad price, all considering, when you're talking about a real wheel and tire setup. The name of this company is, let me try to find it here, Wonfast, obviously Chinese, WONFAST. But again, you know, as long as you're looking up 3-inch tires, 3-inch wheel and tires, trying to maintain the 1.5-inch depth of the wheel. Anything will fix as long as it's a 12 millimeter drive setup. So it's when you start getting into the deeper wheel and tire setups that I have no clue if they fit. So in my experience with the tire and wheels that I've purchased, I know that this set will work with at least these 3 different types of tires. So, okay, so I don't have a price on these yet. The stock height adapters I'll probably be putting up for like maybe $15–18, because again I do have to provide the hardware to be able to use this with, but you'll have to actually do the work with the Allen wrenches and, you know, being able to tie everything together. So, okay, stock ride height setup, that's this. So let's put this aside and let's grab the lift, the lifted version. Okay, so these here are 95 millimeter tires, which comes out to about 3 3/4. Obviously, with the stock setup, the body had to be raised up, and with this, the set, this is actually my prototype set here, and it may be tight. So with the prototype set, it's kind of like my drop kit, except flipped around, and I've actually made comments where people were asking me if I can just take the drop kit and rotate it. Well, you can, but it looks really funky. And to show that, this is my prototype set. To show what that looks like, I mean, it looks great from this side, you know, whatever. It's when you start getting into this view here, you start to see that it just, you know, you got this big old gap down here that, you know, is kind of, I don't know, to me it just doesn't look right. It looks like it just doesn't even make any sense. So what I ended up having to do was model some gussets, stabilizer bar between the two, you know, just to kind of make it look like an actual lifted vehicle. I have one. I've actually got a 2019 Ranger with a 6-inch lift, so I know what all those bits and pieces are kind of needed in, or else it makes it look funny. So that's a prototype set, and this is what it ended up with as far as the final setup. I've got a stabilizer bar in here that goes in between the two wheels to kind of fill in that area. You do lose some articulation, but I mean, you really didn't have much to begin with. Could I dial that in a little bit? I could. But I just don't see a whole lot of serious play. People doing a whole lot of serious play with these. If they're going to set it up for an RC vehicle, they're going to actually put a legit RC chassis on this to do all that kind of stuff. But you actually do get a lot of play with that rubber tire. So that's that. This kit will include the front and the rear. There is a different design for the rear. I'm trying not to lose my missiles here. Get that back. Let me just pull this off. You do get a different design for the rear. It's the same piece really, you can just flip it around so you can just kind of get whatever design you want for it. Let me pull these off and show you what they look like. Okay, so as you see, there's a little bit of a design difference there. I've added a gusset that goes in between the two, and I've added the kind of like a mate area for snap area for this stabilizer to go into. Of course, it's got the same drive, the hex head 472 12 millimeter. This wheel is a lot easier to see. You got the nylock nut in there that'll just go in one end. You put the screw, Allen wrench it, attach it. Word to your mom. Snap it in, just like that. And that's really all there is to it. So if you're doing the front, I've got like a little skid plate modeled into it. You don't have to use this if you don't want to. You can flip it around and do the other side. I just kind of made a different design on each side, if you, depending on what you're wanting to do. So again, you have this little half moon designed into it, and you'll just snap this into place once you get the tire put in there. And then when you get the other side put in there, you'll snap this other half moon into it, just like that. And there's your full add-on piece. So kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 10-piece design for the front and rear axle. Again, this is a 95 millimeter tire from a different company. Let me pull that up real quick. Oh, no, it's not a different company. It's also from OneFast. This is just an aluminum wheel and tire setup. So that's actual, kind of like a beadlock setup. So let's get this put onto the actual vehicle here. Pull off my rear step. Pull off the bumper. Okay. So what you'll do is you'll just slide this in like that. Slide this in just like that. Now you see that big old cavity that you need to close in that would look funny otherwise. You just take this, and what I like to do is put the skid plate out front. And trying to do this at this angle may be a little bit difficult for me, so that just snaps in there. That just snaps in there, just like that. There you go. You have RC tires for your Stinger and your Vamp. I can't tell you how many people reached out to me and says, hey, you know, after Gridiron Studios released their wheel and tire setup, wanted me to do my own wheel and tire setup. I'm like, I'd really rather do another route because I actually want real rubber tires on my vehicles. And I don't want to have to relegate anybody to a specific design setup. So, you know, people, you know, just like, I'm trying to figure out a good way to say this. You know, people's opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So this is one of those things where, you know, somebody's going to want a different color wheel. I mean, especially with OneFast, they have a lot of different aluminum wheel and tire setups. These tires here are a little bit more expensive though. They cost $50 because it is aluminum. But again, you get all four. These are 3.75 inch tires, 95 millimeter. I think two. I'm trying to think of the actual width of them. These are a little bit wider than the Vamp ones. No, actually they're the same size. They're just taller. You can see the height difference right here. So, but yeah, that's that. I'm going to put both sets up on my store. One set will be listed as a body lift. And that will include not only the hubs, but the drive, the 12 millimeter drive for the tires, and the stabilizer bar for both axles. And of course, just the regular, let me get this out of the way. And of course, those that just want to go with the regular ride height of the Vamp, because these are 3-inch tires. Sorry, I ate chili and I'm like, I've got gases right now coming out of both ends. So, yeah, I just lost my train of thought right there. I should have just ended it. Yes, both of these will be up in my store. I'm going to be doing the listings up here in a few minutes to put these in. Hopefully I will have the links down below to be able to purchase either of these setups. Again, guys, this is not including the tires and the wheels. It's up to you to go out and buy the tires and the wheels. These specific wheels I know will work. They are by OneFast on Amazon. They go between $25 all the way up to $50 for the aluminum sets. But at least with the aluminum sets, they have different designs and color choice. Not designs. They have different color choices for like the I just called it what it was called earlier. The rings. Man, I just went dumb. Okay, so again, anyways, those listings will be going up. And let me clear off my desk to show something else here. Give me just 1 second. Okay, so now let's go to move. Let's move to something just a little bit more different. So I believe it was the last video. It could have been the one before that. I showed off my blue Hiss Venom. I just finished this up yesterday, and this is the desert version of the Venom. In my mind, what I'm saying this is what if Mars is selling to both not only G.I. Joe but Cobra, you know, one of those kinds of deals where we're making money off of both sides. This is what's happening. So the G.I. Joe group has their own vehicle. So, you know, Cobra may have the actual Hiss tank. Well, you know, G.I. Joe decided to go their own route and get their own type of more low-slung vehicle. So this is just the same design, just different colorways. I've already actually edited the link on my Etsy store. This one's for sale right now, $285, not including shipping and taxes and fees or whatever. Well, I just kind of went through that really fast. I just wanted to see what this looked like in tan, and not gonna lie, it looks amazing. I hope this is coming across the YouTube's very well in 4K also. Oh, now I was going to say. So yes, the listing that I have is already edited. What I did was I added a colorway setup for beige, black, red, blue, white for Arctic. And I'll probably go ahead and add one for like an Iron Grenadier version as well. I actually just shipped out an Iron Grenadier version that was mostly in red and gold. It looked amazing. It, you know, kind of reminds me of like the Chinese New Year. So, but it was pretty pimp looking. So, looks awesome. I really don't have anything else to add. It just gave me a good reason to dig out my old Traxxas. It kind of makes me think maybe I should try and get this thing rolling again. This thing has definitely seen some better days. The remote control on it, it had like a foam wheel. Well, I didn't realize that got dented too, like most Dodges of this era. There's not much that's straight on them anymore. Oh, I know what I was going to show you. So what I wanted to do was to see if this tire would fit on the lift. And hold on just a second, let me show you. So this ought to be pretty funny. Let me take this wheel off. I mean, you can see the size difference. Also, again, you know, I'm happy this fit and actually use the same drive gear. I don't know how. My biggest apprehension to doing this was I didn't know how standardized the drive hexes were. I know they have a couple different sizes once you go past 110, you know, lower than maybe 118 tires are a different hex gear. I have no idea. But this is my first time pulling this wheel off in like 20 years. I don't even know how old this thing is. So I pulled it off. I actually had to use a longer screw, and that's probably going to be one of those things that could be a problem for people buying different wheels and tires from what I'm offering here. If it has a thicker rim setup, it may not work. You may actually have to have a longer screw. I'm going to state it right here that the screws that I'm using are metric 4 by 12 millimeter. But this one here, I actually had to use a metric 4 by 16 millimeter to get it to go all the way through. So if you do have to use a different screw, just know that you can just go buy a metric 4 by 16 millimeter black button head socket cap screw for like maybe $8 for 100 of them. So they're not really that expensive. It may be $10. I don't know, maybe I need to double check that price. Give me just a second. Let me look that up real quick. Just so you know and I'm not lying. Let's look up screws. Metric 4. Metric 4. 16 millimeter screws. I paid $10 for 100 of them, so that kind of gives you the price of them. Or you just go to your local hardware store, and especially if you're familiar with RC setups, you know what kind of screws to get. So there's that. Anyways, so I actually legit tried to fit this thing underneath here, and it kind of does fit. So here's what I'm going to say. If there is somebody out there that wants to try and get monster tires to work on their Vamp or Stinger, holler at me. I will do some little bit of redesigning on how far these things go down. I could probably make it go down another half of an inch to maybe an inch to get that to work appropriately, or I just may do it myself. I'm not above that. Just because I'm curious to see how it works. But I can make that happen if you want me to make that happen. That would be a big chunky boy though. But anyways, that's really all I have. Again, I'll be throwing up these listings probably as soon as I get through editing this video. The standard height RC kit add-on, as well as the lifted version of the RC kit add-on. I'll try and throw as much information into my listing as I can. That way you're kind of directed to the appropriate spots to be able to buy whatever wheel and tire combos that you want to buy for your Vamp or Stinger. So again, people, I cannot tell you the few times that I've actually had to get on to people who have purchased some of my listings that are just going off of pictures or not actually reading the listing. I don't understand that. When you go buy a new vehicle, say you walk into a Ford dealership and you look at the pamphlet and you say, I want this, and then you come back 5 weeks later, well, I thought I was supposed to have this. Well, did you buy the XLT? Did you buy the XL? Did you buy, you know? Please read in the descriptions about what you are getting. I've actually had some people say, well, I thought one of my Bumblebee, my wheel jacks that I sold last year, I've actually had a person come back to me say, well, I thought Bumblebee came with it. No, why would Bumblebee go with that? There's no reason why I would sell a transformer, an actual legit transformer with wheel jack. The listing legitimately stated you are only receiving a 3D printed item. There are people out there that just don't read anything. And I encourage you, whenever you're on Etsy, please read the listings, because you're going to save not only yourself a lot of heartache, but you're also relieving me of a lot of heartache too. That way I don't have to explain it to you. Man, it's in the listing right here. I explicitly state what you are purchasing. So please read the details. Don't go off of just the pictures. Make sure you know what you're getting is what you're getting. And that's kind of my soapbox right there. it blows my mind when people think they are getting, you know, a whole setup that's worth about $85 for like $10. Read the listing. That's not what you're getting. You're getting just this one little insert. That's what you were purchasing. So please read the listings. Make sure that you retain all or get all the information you need to before you click that purchase button. If you have a question about anything, please reach out to me. I'm pretty good at my message response rate is around 95%. So I'm always there to answer whatever questions that you may have. You know, I do a lot of customizing, a lot of selling. Customizations cost. You know, if you're wanting something different than what I actually sell in the store, it is, and you're wanting it customized, that is going to cost. That's because that's whenever 3D model or 3D printers like me sell stuffs in our store, it takes time to be able to make something different than what we already sell. So most people will have a customization fee. I have that fee as well. I'm trying not to be exorbitant in my prices because, you know, I like to still keep stuff at least somewhat, you know, attainable in prices. But if somebody comes up with some off-the-wall stuff on what they're designing, I'm going to charge accordingly. So I just got right back on that soapbox, and I did not mean to. Anyways, so I'm going to wrap this video up. Stuff's going to be in my store tonight. Links will be in the bottom in the description. That is it. This is Pixel Design signing out.